Hey, okay, are we live? There we go. Boom. Welcome. Hello. Greetings, goddesses. I'm laughing because we came into the room and boom, there is Goddess Helen already. Yes, before we could even begin putting out the good, beautiful vibes, affirming that perception and intention are the magic. Yes, they are. Greetings, gorgeous, and welcome to this sacred conversation. Let me have some water. Give me a sec. Have some water. Give me a sec. Get you some water. Have some water. Okay, let me fix the hair. There's a mess that is happening here. I went from sister locks to freeform locks. My bestie the other day, she said to me, I was tucking hair and trying to figure it all out. And yeah, but you look like Bob Marley. I said, but I don't want to look like Bob Marley. Bob Marley, I love you, but that's not my aspiration. Whole different conversation though. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I see you, Goddess Tanisha's in the house, and Goddess Marie Nadine is here. Yay! She's affirming happy Friday and manifesting abundance, prosperity, and good health. Yes, Goddess Marie Nadine. I'm so happy for that. Let me put my phone on mute. All right. Do not disturb. And turn down the volume for good measure. Today, we are talking about the process of revision. We're going to be getting into in a moment. Okay, so Goddess Tanisha is jumping in with a question. Okay, she's saying, Goddess, will the early registration be extended because of tomorrow's VIP info? Ooh, that makes sense. Hold that thought. Okay, she's asking regarding the retreat, and that actually makes a lot of sense because the Lionsgate sale, which is what she's talking about, which you can learn more at richgoddess.club, the Lionsgate sale extends to Monday, and Monday really Tuesday. So this makes a lot of sense. So yes. So the early registration, yes. Okay. So your answer is yes. And she's talking about, Goddess Tanisha is talking about the retreat, which you can learn more about at richgoddessretreat.com. richgoddessretreat.com. Okay. And actually, speaking of the retreat, hello, good morning, Jamaican Douglas. Speaking of the retreat, if you are wanting to take a manifestation class sooner, you're coming to the retreat, or even if you're not, whether you're coming or not, I have a manifesting class this week coming Wednesday and Thursday with the College of Psychic Studies in London, but it's going to be virtual and it's going to be in depth. It is, I think it's 3 hours or 4 hours per day. We're doing an intensive on Wednesday and Thursday next week. And you can find that info on the screen, tinyurl.com/manifesting class, tinyurl.com/manifesting class. Okay, goddesses. So let's jump in. Thank you, Goddess Tanisha, for sharing the link. You can also, yes, link to it from richgoddess.club, richgoddess.club, or tinyurl.com/manifesting class. All right. So my loves, if you did not see and witness and share in our activation yesterday for 8/8 Lionsgate, and we're still in the Lionsgate energy, we are still in the heart of the lion right now. Let me know, and just go find it on YouTube and watch it, do it, experience it. I think that it is something that will be really shifting for you. It was very shifting for all of us who were in the room and took part, and we had a magical experience where the day before I had done a reading for Manifest Your Magic Moon Circle, and the same exact cards, the same exact reading came forward for us right immediately after. So we are powerful beyond measure. Type into the comments, I am powerful beyond measure, which brings us to what we're talking about today. Let's see. Okay, that's good. All right, good. There we go. Yes, we are powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond measure. So, oh, I didn't even introduce myself. If we're just meeting for the first time, hey, I'm Abiola Abrams. I'm the author of From Imagination to Reality, Secret Manifestation Lessons and the Law of Assumption from Abdullah, Master Alchemist, and an Oracle deck creatrix. And today's lesson, as I said, is called Revision. So we know when we talk about manifesting that you can change the future. Right? That's what manifestation is about. People are learning how to shift the future, change the future, jump timelines in the future, create the future the way they are wanting it to be. It really is creation. But, whether you see it as magnetizing, however you see it, as long as you see that you are the operant power, that it is a co-creative dance between you and the divine in birthing your beautiful life the way that you want it to be, you are right on track. But what if I told you that you could also change the past? So let's get into that a little bit. What if you could also change the past? And what does this have to do with manifesting? So if we look around at our lives, if we look around right now, I'm looking around at a whole bunch of, toys and all kinds of stuff like that, which is a beautiful part of my present. But if we look around if we look around wherever we are, if you look at your life physically, or look at the things that are in the room with you, in the space with you, everything that you see is a manifestation of a belief system that you had previously. All right. So it is what you created before this point, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. What you have in your life is what you manifested and created based on the belief systems of your past. So we know that a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. So we talk about limiting beliefs that you have that hold you back. We've been talking about scarcity and lack and fear. But a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. Well, where did that thought come from? So oftentimes we know it comes culturally, it can come from your family members, it can come from the well-meaning folks who raised you. But a very large part of our beliefs, for those of us who are adults, particularly adults of a certain age, if you're over 35, come from experiences that we had that we then made up a story about. Again, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. We created a story around it to explain the incident, explain the situation to ourselves, that then became a belief. Right? So, if you, for example, I had a client who had a bad experience with public speaking when she was a kid, and she created a belief around it that she was bad at public speaking. I had an experience where in sixth grade, I'm laughing at myself. I wouldn't have laughed at it at the time at all. I shared with y'all that I walked up to the front of the room and accidentally hiked up my skirt in sixth grade with my backpack and walked up to the front of the room, and actually was very arrogantly walking up to the front of the room because I knew whatever the answer was or whatever was happening, whatever was going on. I come from another school with a gifted program, and I was the spelling bee champion and all of that. So I was walking up there in all my Leo Aviola glory. And pulled my hike me skirt up and walked to the front of the room. Oh, Lord God. So embarrassing. And what you absolutely do not want to be happening as a sixth grader, where everything is mortifying already. And it spun me into years and years of social anxiety, shame, embarrassment, fear, everything, right? So that for me in my life was an inciting incident that now I can really laugh at. It's very funny, right? But at the time and for a while, it was not very funny. So what if that incident had not happened? Are there still times in my life where, I am having a socially anxious experience where it may be, unbeknownst to me, still linked to that original memory? or original story. So even now, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about at the last Hay House, I Can Do It. And I can tell y'all this because y'all are my fam. At the last Hay House, I Can Do It. It was really exciting. You know, they have author meets and greets where we get to hang out with other authors and all of that stuff. And, you know, I was in the room and I was, you know, having the conversation with everybody. And it was so much fun. And then my battery just went out, which happens with introverted extroverts or extroverted introverts. My battery died. And I just looked around the room and I was like, oh my God, like it was just like sheer panic. Like, oh my God, why am I here? Okay, I don't want to be in this room. This is too much. This is overload. Whoever it was I was talking to, I can't remember, but it was like, oh my gosh, okay, my bookshelf, like I had the thought that my bookshelf has come to life. All the people on my bookshelf that I enjoy reading are now my peers and they're standing there with me, which is magnificent, which is what I've manifested and created. But in that moment, it was just like really overwhelming. And I was like, okay, you know, this is like, I don't even remember what I said. If I said anything, said something, broke out, just left and like basically like practically like ran back to my room. What if that is somehow connected to this situation? I don't know that it is. I don't know that it isn't. It's not a big deal either way. But if that situation for things that are bigger deals for us, if the inciting incident, if the incident, if story A had not happened, you would not be experiencing story B. Right? So if something happened, for example, where you thought you were ugly or unattractive, and now it's affecting your relationship or your dating life or whatever it is, if you could go back and change the past to where story A never happened, who would that make you now? If you could change the things that make you see your life in scarcity and lack, so I've shared with y'all how you know for a long time. I love my dad very very much. Love my daddy, but for a long time, like you know, we would have this situation in my family where again it's a joke now, but you know where he would go to pay for something and we'd be like, oh my god, like on pins and needles, like is it gonna work out? Is it gonna go through? Is it not gonna go through? Like what's gonna happen? Are we gonna be mortified? Is it you know? It just was who knows? It was like you know like gambling each time whether it was gonna work out or not, right? If I could go back and erase that the stories that are attached to that, the beliefs I have attached to that, the fears and anxieties attached to that, which affect how I see abundance, money, right? Prosperity, who I am in the world, would that then remove how I'm able to manifest, create, and show up in terms of abundance, wealth, prosperity now, all these years later? And the answer is yes. Yes, it would. And so, presenting to you, dun, 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 today we're already doing it. We are delving into the process of revision. Revision. Yes, not funny for a sixth grader at all. Absolutely mortifying. Yes. So today we are delving into revision, how to change the past, which is absolutely possible and was a very powerful technique that Neville Goddard taught. Neville Goddard was a student of Abdullah, perhaps his most well-known student. And we have it here in the book. Let me just find the page for those of you who are playing along at home. Okay, so the revision process is on page 233 in the book, okay? Page 233. And so, interestingly enough, even before I learned about revision here, I was doing it because it is also a psychological technique. It's a technique that is used in hypnotism to go back and delete the past, go back and erase the past, go back and rewrite the past. And all of that is really valuable because, as I said, our beliefs create how we see our world. Our beliefs create how we see our world. And so our beliefs, which are steeped in events, if we go back and we erase and change the event, we then change not only how we see the world, but right, yes, goddess, magical unicorn, our perception is everything. But even on a deeper level, on a metaphysical level, where the incident can be erased. So I had this client that had a similar school kind of event thing where she was like I guess like a top scholar in some kind of program that she was doing in school, and she ended up failing out at the end of the year because she was having family issues. She ended up failing out miserably, in her words, and it was shameful for her family, and the teacher had berated her in front of the program, and it affected everything, like, just even we were talking about her being able to ask for a raise, and she saw herself as a failure in life. And so we went back, and first we went back and rewrote the memory. So we went back, we took the story of what had happened, and she rewrote it. She wrote it differently, like literally scripted it out differently, where she took the exam, she took the test or whatever it was, and she excelled. And so we did that first as a first stage, and then we went back and really just deleted the whole story, just deleted the whole thing, that it had never happened. And she had a very positive reaction in it, in going forward and being able to use this in her life and manifest money and manifest prosperity in her business, her job that she had, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, here's where the metaphysical powerful layer goes beyond the psychological. She ended up running into, at a reunion, the professor or teacher and some of the students who were in the program with her. And she, they were talking old talks, as we say in Guyana, talking old talks and sharing about what happened. And she said to the teacher, she said something like, that really, had affected me for a long time, but, I've done work on it, and, thankfully it doesn't. But I just want to just, thank you for holding my feet to the fire, and holding me up to a standard, a raised standard that I now have for myself. And the teacher was like, well, what are you talking about? The teacher's like, no, you did very well on every exam and everything. The teacher had no memory of it. And not only did the teacher have no memory of it, but then when she turned to her classmates and she was like, okay, feeling like, okay, well, maybe now because the teacher's old, or maybe the teacher felt embarrassed that he had embarrassed her. Maybe he revised it in his head. And she was like, okay, maybe the teacher just doesn't remember. And she's like, no, everybody remembers. It was like a big thing. Everybody talked about it for years. And she was with her classmates who were in the class, and they're like, no, we don't remember that. Not another human being in the circle had any memory of it. It did not happen. It had been erased. It had been shifted. She jumped timelines. She was in a reality now where that never happened. It did not happen. The stories that she had that were attached to it, the beliefs that she had that were attached to it, and the actual incident, the memory of it, no longer existed. And so we are powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond measure. Every single belief that we have is creating, on a scientific level, a chemical reaction within the brain, within the body. That's why we hold things in our body and hold memories in our nervous systems. It is good spiritual, mental, and emotional hygiene to go back at the end of the day, even think about things that didn't go the way that you're wanting them to. And instead of thinking about them like, oh my God, woe is me, I shouldn't have said that. Why didn't I do that? Why did they call me back? Why, whatever. Go back and rewrite it. Rewrite it. Type into the comments just the word rewrite or rewrite it. Rewrite it. Go back and hold a vision of it happening the way that you would have wanted it to. Have the conversation the way you would have wanted it to. Make the request the way that you would have wanted it to. Wear whatever it is that you would have wanted it to be. Rewrite it. Rewrite it. Recreate it. Shift it. Shift it. You have within you, you embody within you the power of the divine. And if we say all things are possible, what does that leave out? Like, all things are possible. Like, what is omitted from that? It's all possible. It's all possible. I use this when I get like aches and pains and things. So like this morning, I accidentally burned myself when I was making eggs. And I burned the palm of my hand, like the hot butter. I cook with butter. The butter like came up and like burned my hand. So I go back and just delete the memory, delete the experience of having been burned. And it affects then the physical. Some things are harder to mentally delete with our imagination. Your imagination, type into the comments, imagination is key. Some things, your imagination is, that's why the name of the book is From Imagination to Reality. Your imagination is your key and connection to God source energy. And in fact, the way that Neville Goddard would put it, and it was very controversial, he would say, our imagination is God. Your imagination is God within you. And I believe that that's why so many, in a lot of the West African and South African cultures, the Ori, for example, the power of the divine is considered to be within the head, right here. Or when we talk about, in Hindu cultures and other cultures that talk about the power of the pineal gland, or the third eye consciousness. It's all the same. It's all the same. You have the power. Rewrite it. Rewrite it. And so if you can think of maybe one pivotal thing that happened, and not one of the bigger traumas, because you don't want to begin by doing this with trauma, because if you're not working with a practitioner that is trauma informed, you can bring harm to yourself. So you don't want to do that. You want to begin by doing this with something that was an inciting incident for your life that affected you, that you can go in and shift and go in and do this work. What is it that, an experience maybe that you had that created beliefs that are affecting you? We talked about beliefs around scarcity and lack. It could be beliefs that you had, experiences that you had in your family in the 3D, that made you feel unwanted or undesired, right? That are things that you have anchored in beliefs that are affecting you to this day. So going back and rewriting those, and also, as I said, rewriting, just on a daily basis, as, emotional, spiritual, mental, psychological hygiene. Okay, the things that happened, and how can you rewrite them in a way that they would then be in alignment with the life that you are manifesting, the beautiful life that you are manifesting, the beautiful life that you deserve to live, the beautiful life of who you really are. Your imagination is key. It's really magical when we think about it. It's really amazing when we think about it. The power that we have that we don't know that we had. Like, this would have been way more valuable to teach us in school, right? Spelling bee was nice and all of that, but while I was walking and like hiking my skirt up by accident in 6th grade, it would have been great if we were learning all of this. Maybe we can use revision to go back and teach ourselves all of this before, back in the days in 6th grade. And so maybe we'd be living different lives now. How incredible is that? It really is an awakening. Yes, it really is an awakening. It really is a shift. It really is magical. We are the magic. We hold the keys. So, what is one thing that you are committed to in this weekend rewriting for yourself in this Lionsgate energy? I want you all to pick one thing, just one thing, one story from your past. It could be as an adult. It could be something that happened recently. It could be a conversation. One thing that you're going to rewrite in this Lionsgate energy weekend. What are you going to rewrite for yourself? It could be things around scarcity, lack, fear of not being enough, self-doubt. One thing. I want you to pick one thing, right? Just one thing. And with this one thing, all right, for depending on how you process information, we all need to know our magical selves and know what works best for ourselves. But for my people who are journalers, I want you to write a new story. Write it as a new story. whatever it is, right? So I would go back, okay, and rewrite this sixth grade story and say, the teacher asked whatever it is, and maybe I raised my hand and answered my usual smug way, but didn't come up to the front of the room or whatever. I don't remember what the whole situation was, right? Rewrite it, all right? So you're going to rewrite it. Or if it is something that that you just really just don't want, you can also just go in and rewrite it completely deleted. Maybe that day I stayed home from school, right? Maybe that day I stayed home from school completely, or I didn't have the book bag, the backpack that did that. Just rewrite the whole situation. You can use visualization techniques like picture like a on a computer where you just delete it, push the delete button, and it deletes, right? Don't forget to empty the recycle bin, right? Or use a visualization technique where you see yourself erasing it. Just erase it. Erase the whole picture, erase the situation. Hold a picture of it and just erase it. We're going to rewrite it. We're going to reimagine it. We're going to shift it. We're going to delete it. Again, I'm using different language because different things resonate with different people. All right. And we're going to write ourselves a new future. So then you write or create visually or imagine, hold in your mind's eye a new picture of what actually did happen. So you have the picture of what you are rewriting, So all of these things that you're saying. So for example, with overthinking and acceptance of the self, you want to attach it to a specific story. So if overthinking is what you want to do away with, why are you an overthinker? Were you a parentified adult growing up? Did you have to be the one in charge of everything and taking care of your family? Were you a first daughter? Were you did you feel unsafe in your life and you had to take care of other people? Whatever it is, I don't know, right? So go back and find a story, find a situation. It doesn't have to be like, okay, it would help if you find the first time that you felt it, but if you don't, just find a pivotal moment and erase it. Erase it, okay? Free yourself from it. That's what we're doing. We are freeing ourselves from the past that no longer serves us. We're freeing ourselves from the past that no longer serves us in order to step into our glorious and exciting present and future, because we are the magic. Indeed, Goddess, go ahead and type that into the comments. We are the magic. Yes, we are the magic, okay? We are the magic. That's a big one, Goddess Helen. We are the magic. Yes, we are the magic. I love that. I love that. Yes, Goddess Jamaria, that is a great one. That is absolutely powerful. Yes, we are the magic. Okay, so you have your homework, you have your marching orders. Okay, and if you didn't already, definitely, like I said, head to richgoddess.club or to tinyurl.com/manifesting class. Take advantage of these tools and resources to go deep, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to live your juiciest life. And the time is now. We are the magic. Are you receiving that today, beautiful? Are you receiving that today? We are the magic. Yes, 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 yes. And so if you missed at the beginning, yes, if you were the retreat special that was going to expire today is going to expire on Monday, because there is a VIP special sale that is happening. And it's all happening at richgoddess.club. Yay! I love y'all, my beauties. Thank you for coming to hang out with me. I'm going to go and do some revision work, because now I've got myself thinking about some stuff. What do we want to revise? What no longer serves us? What is no longer a part of our beautiful future? And I will see you on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come take my class with the next week, the 2-day intensive. It's going to be really, really good. Okay. All right. See you there. Bye.